1,000 years ago, the demon beasts were ruled by the dragon clan, and at the top of it all was the demon god. This demon had an overwhelming ambition and wreaked havoc across the world. He led an army of magical beasts, tearing through the human world with no mercy, his greed knowing no bounds. His goal was to cover every corner of the world in endless darkness. It was humanity's darkest hour, but in the face of destruction, humanity's potential was unleashed. In a wave of spiritual awakening, some exceptional individuals discovered they could control the demon beasts. These individuals became known as beast tamers. Fast forward to the present. Qingfeng City's northern residential area is being invaded by demon beasts, and chaos is taking over. Our protagonist, Xiaoxing Yu, is right in the middle of it all and is horrified by what he's witnessing. A slaughtered demon beast falls right in front of him, its blood splattering all over the place, leaving him completely petrified. Luckily, he's saved by a beast tamer, a beautiful woman named Su Ruyan, the headmaster of Azure Dragon Academy. With a big smile on her face, she hands him her business card and assures him that Azure Dragon Academy will take care of everything, including compensation for his destroyed house. With that, Su Ruyan flies off with her other teammates. It's the first time Xiao has seen Beast Tamer in person, and already, he's wishing he could become one too. But the biggest thing holding him back is that he can't even afford a beast. Without a beast, he can't take the National Beast Tamer exam, and if he can't become a beast tamer, he can't protect anyone. But it looks like his life is about to take a turn. He stumbles upon a stray husky, or rather, the husky conveniently finds him to push the plot forward. Xiaoxing Yu remembers reading about this kind of monster in a textbook. It's a dog-like creature called the Galehound. Its bloodline is weak and doesn't require much spiritual power, so maybe he can take care of it after all. Now that he has a beast, he can finally become a beast tamer. The next day, Xiaoxing Yu heads to a beast tamer store, thinking about selling the beast since he can't afford to raise it. Just as he's thinking about it, the shop owner opens the door and asks him what he's here for. Xiaoxing Yu asks the man if he wants the beast. Of course, the shopkeeper tries to shoo him away, explaining that Galehounds have an inferior bloodline with no evolutionary path. The poor puppy is terrified, but right at that moment, a system notification pops up in front of Xiao, showing a bunch of stats about his husky and even revealing its hidden evolution path. Of course, Xiao rubs his eyes wondering if he's hallucinating. But when he opens them again, the notification is still there. And now he notices something that catches his attention. A hidden evolution path for the Galehound. The shopkeeper behind him just tells him to go away, insisting that there's no evolution path for these inferior creatures. At that moment, Xiao notices a cocky guy approaching. This guy is your typical spoiled rich kid who enjoys poking fun at someone like Xiao. He's Sujie, a third year from Class 1, and he also attends the same school as Xiao. On top of that, he's the son of Qingfeng City's wealthiest man. He spots the beast in our boy's hands and smirks with this shady grin, but before he can say anything, Xiao quickly twirls around and starts walking off in order to avoid this bastard. But this bastard just starts laughing loudly at the idea of our boy joining the beast tamer exam with this trash dog. As far as he knew, Lena had told him that Xiao wasn't even planning to join the exam since he didn't have a pet. But now, seeing Xiao with the husky, it seems like the situation's changed. The mention of Lena catches our boy's attention, and he asks more about it. Suja smirks and reminds him that he's talking about the same girl our boy used to hang out with. But then he drops the bombshell that Lena is now with him. Right at that moment, that gold digger shows up, grabs Sujie's hand, and asks him where he went off to. Suji casually explains that he was just exchanging greetings with her old boyfriend. The girl quickly clarifies that Xiao isn't her friend anymore, since they haven't been in touch for a while. In her mind, she wonders why she should care if that loser sees her with a rich guy. After all, here he is, carrying a pathetic dog in his hands, while she's got Sujie, the son of Qingfeng City's wealthiest man. Xiaoxing Yu gets annoyed at the shift in Lena's attitude and reminds her of the times he helped her. He tells her that it's actually him who's going to dump her, so she can enjoy being with whoever she wants. Man, look at this husky. This animal seems to be laughing at our boy, as if it's mocking the idiot who's getting rejected by his ex-girlfriend. Anyway, Xiao mocks that bastard and begins walking away, triggering Suja's cocky attitude even more. As our boy walks, he feels tired of how these guys think the Galehound is worthless. They have no idea what they're underestimating. 3 days pass, and it's time for the Beast Tamer National Exam at Zilin Square. All the students who are about to participate are gathered, and among them is Xiaoxing Yu. As he walks through the square, feeling confident, he notices people gossiping behind his back. They're wondering why he's even attempting the Beast Tamer National Exam when he doesn't even have a beast. On top of that, he's broke and can't even afford to raise a beast, so they're all convinced he's just wasting his time. Xiaoxing Yu finally stands in front of the globe that will determine his fate, ready to prove to everyone that he's not the loser they think he is. He greets the teacher sitting on the other side of the table, and the man, hidden under his hat, casually asks if he's Xiao Xingyu. The teacher is Chen Chinian, the admissions officer from Azure Dragon Academy in Qingfeng District. Xiao quickly confirms his identity and states that he's here to take the exam. Chen reflects on how Xiao is the only student from Qingfeng District applying to this academy. Right at that moment, that bastard from before appears on the scene. There's a big, sinister grin plastered across his face. He mocks Xiao for even attempting the exam. He is so sure of himself that he promises that if our boy somehow passes, he'll drop to his knees and call him father. But Xiao doesn't back down. With full confidence, he tells the guy to go ahead and make the promise, and further advises him to be ready to call him daddy soon enough. Turning to the teacher, he says he's ready and asks if they can start the test. Before they begin, the teacher reminds him that if he fails this exam, he'll never be able to apply to another Beast Tamer Academy. Everyone in the background laughs, thinking Xiao doesn't stand a chance. The passing score for the spirit exam is 800, something they're sure Xiao could never reach. But Xiao stands firm, confident in his abilities, and accepts the terms. The teacher tells him to place his hand on the crystal. Xiao does so, and the result comes in, and sadly enough, he only got 316 points. Instantly, everyone bursts into laughter. Even the teacher, who had high hopes for Xiao, looks disappointed. But just as the laughter rings out, something incredible happens. The crystal starts reacting, and the score begins to rise, and it only goes higher and higher. It crosses the 800 mark and eventually stops at 1028. Everyone is left with their jaws hanging on the floor, and it's the worst nightmare for that rich bastard who had promised to call our boy father. You see, spirit power determines with how many beasts a beast tamer can make contract with. For every 100 points, a beast tamer can handle one beast. With a score of 1028, it means Xiao Xingyu has the potential to become a 10-star beastmaster. Even the teacher can hardly believe it. There's a 10-star beastmaster standing right in front of him. In the past few decades in the Dragon Kingdom, there have only been a few 10-star beastmasters, and now, it looks like the Dragon Kingdom has found its next genius. The teacher reveals that Xiao Xingyu's spirit power is 1028, and remembers that the genius girl, Yanning Shuang, who took the exam last year, had a score of 1030. This means Xiao is only 2 points behind that prodigy. That gold digger from before starts losing her mind at the sight of this. She's sure that even if he passes this test, he'll never be able to pass the next one, which is the Beast Bloodline Quality Test. But before they can proceed to the next test, the teacher gets a notification from his assistant that there's been a slight error with the spirit power meter. It turns out Xiao Xingyu's actual score is 1032, which is 2 points higher than Yanning Shuang's 1030. The teacher decides to keep the malfunction quiet and not let it go public. With that, he announces that the second test is the Beast Bloodline Quality Test and tells Xiao to summon his beast. Xiao confidently calls out to his friend, Black Fang. Everyone is on edge, waiting to see what kind of beast Xiao has, but they're quickly disappointed when they see it's just a Galehound. This is known as one of the lowest grade beasts in terms of bloodline quality. Even the teacher, who had been hopeful, face palms at the sight of this weak and unimpressive beast. Spirit power aside, the bloodline quality of a beast is a crucial factor in a beast tamer's future development, and it's clear that Xiao's beast has a poor bloodline quality. But before the teacher can make any judgment, the Galehound begins to react. It starts to transform into a massive beast, one that no longer resembles a Galehound at all. Turns out, it's the evolved version of the Galehound. The whole crowd goes wild, completely losing their minds. No one can believe what they're seeing. The fact that Galehounds does not have any evolution path makes this even more jaw-dropping. At that moment, the teacher checks the stats of the beast, and a system notification pops up. The teacher learns that this monster is actually in its second stage of evolution, with totally different stats, abilities, and attributes. A smirk spreads across the teacher's face. It's clear now that the student in front of him is not weak at all. With a warm smile, the teacher reveals to Xiao that he's passed the exam and is welcome to join Azure Dragon Academy. The gold digger and her spoiled boyfriend decide to leave quietly before they get humiliated. But Xiao isn't letting this bastard off that easily. He quickly reminds Suja to keep his promise and tells him to call him daddy. Of course, Suja isn't going to say anything that might hurt his ego, but he's quickly humbled when Xiao orders his beast to take care of this bastard. In an instant, the monster places its massive claw right over Suja to pin him down. The poor guy grits his teeth as he reluctantly calls Xiao his father. But to rub some salt on this bastard's bruised ego, my guy tells him that he doesn't need a son like him, so he should just get lost. Seeing Suja humiliated, the gold digger girl immediately switches her tone, claiming she's developed feelings for our boy, and she is sure that they could have a future together. She tries to soften the blow, but Xiao flatly turns her down. He tells her that he's already stopped chasing holes, and this time, he's aiming to achieve his goal. The lady collapses to the ground after getting shredded and apologizes for everything she's done, admitting that she was wrong. But in the end, her pleas fell deaf ears. On the way, Xiao is excited to share the good news about getting into Azure Dragon Academy. He quickly calls his sister, but his pleasant smile fades when he hears a screeching scream followed by the phone cutting off. In the outskirts of Qingfeng City, at the farmer's market, a monster is ravaging the place. At that moment, we see a woman, who might be Xiao's sister, holding a child close to her chest, trying to protect the terrified girl. But just as she's holding the child, a giant monster looms over them. Xiao arrives at the scene and quickly begins scanning the chaos to find his sister, and that's when he spots the giant scorpion. In the desperate moment, a system notification pops up right in front of him, showing a bunch of skills he can use. Without hesitation, Xiao presses yes, but as much as he wants to use them, nothing happens. The scorpion, on the other hand, is about to strike his sister with its deadly stinger. Xiao quickly recalls how the beast tamer lady from Qinglong Academy had chanted some kind of spell, so he decides to give it a try himself. As soon as he chants, his white furry friend turns black, and under Xiao's command, the beast gathers up immense firepower in its mouth and obliterates the overgrown scorpion with a single breath. Just like that, the monster is down for the count. But then Xiao notices that his sister was much closer to the scorpion. Panicking, he rushes toward her, and the two siblings share a glance of relief as they see that they are both safe. With a smile, Xiao happily announces that he got into Azure Dragon Academy and is officially a Beastmaster now. His little furry friend turns back into his former form and jumps at Xiao excitedly. Then my guy turns to his sister and proudly introduces himself as Beast Tamer. And this little guy is his beast, the Hellstorm Wolf, Blackfang. The onlookers, who had been watching the chaos unfold, are left jaw-dropped, stunned by the sight of the monster that was ravaging the city being dealt with so quickly. Xiao feels an overwhelming sense of joy seeing everyone happy because of him. The doting mother, who had been frantically searching for her little girl, thanks him profusely and asks if he's a Beastmaster. The little girl with tears in her eyes runs to her mother as Xiao continues walking his own path. As he gets closer to the monster's corpse, we notice something shimmering inside, which looks like a crystal. Well, it's actually a monster core. Of course, the annoying system window pops up, explaining that he obtained the core by killing the monster, as if we wouldn't have known this without it telling us. The core has poisonous effects, and although Xiao isn't thrilled to have a low-level crystal, he decides to feed it to Blackfang. Even the smallest gain could help his little companion evolve. He then publicly announces to everyone that the monster has been dead and defeated, and the crowd gathers around him, all grateful and cheering for his victory. But of course, the art style is so cringeworthy that everyone looks like they're straight out of a hentai. The little girl rushes to Xiao, and he gives her a gentle pat on the head. After that intense day, Xiao returns to his humble abode, which still has that giant gaping hole in the roof. As he sleeps soundly, his sister stares at him with a focused expression. She scans him with her eyes and notices that the dragon rune curse is still activated. Quickly, she reports this to someone over the phone, saying that she can still feel the Dragon King's essence within him. But it doesn't make sense that Xiao, with that curse still active, is able to form a beast contract. The caller tells her to keep a close eye on him, and she readily agrees. The next day, Xiao and his sister arrive at the Qingfeng City train station, with their luggage in tow. Before they depart, everyone from yesterday gathers around to give our boy their gifts, showing him their special affection. After a heartfelt farewell, Xiao waves to the crowd one last time and boards the train. A few hours later, the train attendant announces over the speaker that there have been reports of beasts along the tracks ahead. Passengers are told to expect some shaking, but the train has successfully passed through the dangerous area and will proceed as normal. Both siblings breathe a sigh of relief, glad they've made it through the danger zone and will be at Longyan City in no time. Xiao's sister encourages him to study hard when he starts school, but right at that moment, the train jolts violently, throwing everyone in their seats. The announcement warns the passengers that a group of beasts known as the three-eyed giant apes has been spotted up ahead, and they should brace themselves and protect their belongings. While our boy braces himself for whatever's coming, the other two passengers are paralyzed in fear. The monsters begin to punch the train rooftop hard, and that massive ape crashes through the roof. Xiao immediately turns to his sister, telling her to stay hidden while he takes care of things. As he leaves her behind, the gorilla leaps toward him, but before it can land a blow, a fox-like beast strikes its tail hard across its face, sending the ape stumbling backward. Then enters this lady with fiery hair, Qin Yanran, daughter of the Sky Guild's president. With a commanding gesture, she orders her beast, a majestic three-tailed thunder fox, to charge at the ape. Lightning crackles around the fox as it dashes forward with incredible speed. Xiao watches in awe to see the extraordinary power of the fox. Upon reading the stats, he realizes it's a top-tier Tier 3 monster. It doesn't take long for him to connect the dots that this powerful woman must be Qin Yanran, the daughter of the Sky Guild's president. Our boy quickly calls out to everyone to evacuate the train, but it's almost too late since 3 giant apes are already inside, rampaging toward the passengers. Thinking fast, Xiao directs Black Fang to assist that other beast tamer. As Qin Yanran focuses on taking down one of the gorillas, another ape creeps up behind her. Without hesitation, my guy uses his Black Fang Inferno Bind, summoning dark flames that trap all 3 apes in their tracks. The fox lady is quite amazed to see that he's actually a beast tamer. She thanks him for saving her life, and he assures her that any beast tamer would have done the same in that situation. Suddenly, a system window pops up and he is startled to see that her beast is going through depression and lethargy. To treat it, they need to crush anemone flowers soaked in hot water, add a thunder attribute catalyst, and mix in the fully dissolved core of a water-type magical beast. My guy is amazed by this, and later asks her if her pet get overly excited during battles, then become lethargic afterwards, even showing signs of self-harm. He educates her that this all are signs that it's suffering from post-battle trauma. What he doesn't mention is that he can literally see this condition through the status window. Instead, he spins a lie, claiming he read about this condition in the Beastmaster's Ailments Guide, and that thunder foxes are particularly susceptible to it. The girl gives him an energetic pat on the back for helping, and from then on, she decides to take him as her little brother. Meanwhile, his sister, standing behind them, gets absolutely annoyed seeing him with the other girl. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she's not actually his sister but some stepsister or something, because this kind of stuff happens in these trashy manhwas all the time. She quickly butts in between her brother and Qin Yanran, holding him close and claiming that he is her little brother, so she can't share him with anyone. But Yanran quickly snatches Xiao from her hands. The doting sister immediately grabs him back, and just like that, the 2 ladies argue over who gets to be the big sister of the boy. The scene then transitions to the central plaza of Azure Dragon Academy, where all the students are gathered. The host welcomes everyone to Azure Dragon Academy, a cheerful guy who is actually the Dean of Education, known as Lin Kang. Behind him, the guy in tie is the Vice Principal, Wang Dongsheng. In the middle of the student assembly is the boy, glad to have finally made it there. A familiar lion's roar suddenly reverberates throughout the assembly, signaling the arrival of the Academy's top prodigy, riding on the back of her lion. She promptly lowers her altitude and hops off the beast's back. This lady is actually the director of the school, and the dean asks her if she can speak a few words to the students. The boy is left with his jaw dropped at the sight. As far as he remembers, she is the same woman who fought the Shadow Demon Dragon before. The lady, on the other hand, congratulates everyone on being accepted into Azure Dragon Academy, but takes a moment to remind everyone of one important thing. It doesn't matter if they come from influential families or humble beginnings. She makes it abundantly clear that in Azure Dragon Academy, everyone will follow her rules, especially rule number 8. Of course, everyone is left with their jaws hanging, murmuring among themselves about this mysterious rule number 8. Finally, she reveals that Rule 8 states that if conflicts arise between students, regardless of who is right or wrong, they must be resolved through a duel in the ring, and the loser must apologize to the winner. This leaves the boy sweating a little. Rule 8 might seem strict, but it means that influential families can't bully others or abuse their power, giving even ordinary students a chance to seek justice through their fists. Don't you think this rule is kind of stupid? I mean, this rule is supposed to eliminate anyone picking up on the weak, but instead, it is giving more chances for the filthy rich to humiliate the poor even more. Like, if I'm stronger, I will intentionally pick on the weak to have a duel with them. 2 hours later, an arrogant student loses his temper upon seeing the boy. He is literally jealous that someone has a spiritual power score rivaling that of senior Yaning Shuang. The teacher gets annoyed by the loudmouth and tells him to sit down. Eventually, the goon takes his seat and promises to follow our boy from now on. It seems he wasn't jealous after all. He's just inspired by Xiao. The teacher then writes something in Chinese on the board and introduces himself as the homeroom teacher, Chen Chinian. He's excited to teach the students to the best of his abilities. He tells everyone to open the Beast Companion Guide to the first chapter, where they'll start the theory of beast companions. The strength of a beast companion, he explains, is mainly determined by 2 factors. The first is the companion's evolutionary stage. The currently known evolutionary stages, from lowest to highest, include initial form, mature form, complete form, transcendent form, and finally, beast king form. The second factor, Teacher Chen explains, is the beast's bloodline quality. Documented bloodlines are ranked from poor to high quality, and higher quality bloodlines naturally exert a suppressive effect on lower ones. Additionally, the attributes of beast companions can create an attribute suppression effect. For example, the common 5-element attribute system contains metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, follows a cycle of mutual suppression. In this cycle, wood suppresses earth suppresses water, water suppresses fire fire suppresses metal, and metal suppresses wood. Beyond these 5 basic attributes, Teacher Chen adds, there are other variants, like sand and lightning, though he won't list all of them one by one. As the class continues, our boy is seen catching some Z's, but he is quickly jolted awake when Teacher Chen hits him with the chalk he's holding. Annoyed by his sleeping, Teacher Chen asks him what the weakness of the sky demon lizard is. If he can't answer, he better pick up his bag and get out of the class. Teacher Chen repeats the question, demanding to know the weakness of the sky demon lizard, and warns him that if he can't answer, he shouldn't bother coming back tomorrow. But the boy quickly answers that the weakness of the lizard is the venom sac under its abdomen. Teacher Chen follows up with another question, asking where ice condors usually live. The boy answers this question too, leaving everyone completely boggled by his knowledge. The teacher decides to test our boy even more, and asks him what he should do if he encounters a sky-rending tiger in the wild. In response, my guy said he would bite down on his ID card and find a shady spot to lie down. Everyone is left jaw-dropped once again, and Teacher Chen is especially boggled. When he asks for further clarification, our guy reveals that the sky-rending tiger is a Beast King class mutated beast, and only a level 6 or higher Beastmaster could stand a chance against it. For beginner Beastmasters, encountering a sky-rending tiger in the wild would mean certain death. So he'd put his ID in his mouth to make it easier for his family to identify his body, and finding a shady spot would slow the body's decay. The teacher completely flips out upon hearing this ridiculous yet oddly low IQ explanation. He's not boggled because the info is stupid, but because what Xiao said is actually true. So, he ends up giving our boy full marks. He then asks how he even knows these things, since they're not in the current syllabus. Our guy just flashes all the source material he's read in advance. Everyone in the class is left utterly bewildered, wondering how they're going to keep up with a prodigy like this guy in the future. The teacher tells everyone to continue with self-study and then invites Xiao to come with him. Once they're outside, Xiao doesn't waste any time apologizing for falling asleep in class again. Teacher Chen, however, isn't here to talk about that. Instead, he's amazed that Xiao has somehow mastered the entire semester's theory content in less than half a class. Xiao, of course, credits all his success to the teacher, but Teacher Chen brushes off the flattery, telling him to cut it out. Since he's already finished the theory section, it's time for him to dive into more advanced material. The teacher seems both a bit annoyed and oddly satisfied to see this happening so quickly. To be fair, it's only been one day since Xiao joined this academy, so it's pretty funny that they're talking as if he's been there for months already. Either way, Teacher Chen hands our boy a library pass for the Azure Dragon Academy. Our guy is amazed when he sees the library pass because it allows him to freely come and go in the Azure Dragon library and borrow books for free. He thanks Teacher Chen and decides to head off to the library since there's nothing else for him to learn right now. The next scene shifts to the Azure Dragon Academy library. We see our boy sitting alone in a quiet corner, buried deep in books. That's when a cocky bastard with his entourage barges in. This guy is Wang Yan, the son of the vice principal Wang Dongsheng. Wang Yan arrogantly orders everyone to clear out, and all the NPCs with their weird legs start scrambling to leave. There are also a few ladies in the library, and this cocky thug tells them to stay behind and accompany him while he studies. The girls look absolutely terrified in his presence, but that's when our guy shuts his book and tosses it over Wang Yan's head with such force that it leaves the guy's face twisting in anger. He looks around and sees our guy striding forward casually. Like any true Sigma, he stands right in front of the cocky bastard and calls him out for shamelessly harassing the girls. One of the girls warns him to back off, telling him that this guy is the son of Vice Principal Wang Dongsheng, so they can't afford to mess with him. But this is the least of our guy's concerns, though now he understands why this punk was so full of himself. The bastard, feeling overly confident, starts flashing a thumbs down and warns him not to meddle if he knows what's good for him. But our guy shuts him down with a single ball-busting kick. The bastard drops down in pain, completely withering from the blow. Even after this humiliating takedown, he still has the audacity to act cocky, vowing to teach our guy a lesson and prove who really calls the shots at Qinglong Academy. But it looks like the tables are about to turn, because just then, the Academy's Big Cheese herself arrives on the scene. She doesn't look too thrilled to hear that Qinglong Academy is supposedly under his control. The guy knows he's in deep trouble now. The dean shoots daggers at him with her eyes, making it clear that she already understands what happened. Since he's gotten into a conflict with our boy, she says they'll settle it according to Article 8 of the school rules. You see, if students have a conflict, right or wrong, they have to resolve it in a ring duel. The loser is required to apologize to the winner. Honestly, this rule is garbage. It's not exactly fair to the weaker students, who end up bullied both outside the arena and within it. Anyway, because of this ridiculous rule, we find ourselves at the arena. Some people doubt our guy can win since Wang Yan's beast is a legendary quality 6-clawed sky-splitting leopard. Even the teacher, however, is rooting for our boy. Finally, the match is about to begin, and both sides enter the arena. The bastard is feeling cocky, ready to crush our guy. But Xiao just looks thrilled, eager to rip this punk to shreds. The match officially starts, and Wang Yan summons his creepy tiger beast. Xiao activates one of his skills to read the beast's stats, and he's momentarily shocked to see that the beast has a dual attribute. Still, he's confident and ready to own this stage. He summons his own monster, and the thick, dark red aura radiating from it leaves everyone with their jaws hanging wide open. The beast is so domineering that, in terms of looks, the six-clawed sky-splitting leopard is totally overshadowed. Meanwhile, in the VIP lounge, the dean watches everything happening through a crystal ball. It seems even she's seeing an evolved galehound for the first time. You see, galehounds have always been considered useless beasts with no evolution path, so she's unsure how Xiao managed to make this happen. On the other side of the arena, Wang Yan grows impatient, annoyed that Xiao is trying to steal all the attention. He orders his beast to unleash Icecrack Rending Claw. Xiao, however, calmly tells his Black Fang to make serpentine movements. The black dog begins to jump around nimbly, dodging each strike. But despite the dodging, the poor dog still gets struck by the tiger's claw on the back, leaving it utterly helpless. Teacher Chen is also feeling quite concerned for our boy. You see, Xiao's Hellish Gale Wolf is a wind and fire dual-attribute beast, while Wang Yan's six-clawed sky-splitting leopard is an ice and wind dual-attribute beast. The attribute disadvantage is still unavoidable. Meanwhile, the bastard on the other side is shouting at the top of his lungs, confident that his beast will disable Xiao's. He continues to order his monster to unleash one attack after another. The final attack traps Black Fang inside a crystal coffin, so tough that the poor dog can barely move inside it. The bastard son of the vice principal is having the time of his life, laughing as he watches, certain that his beast will freeze Xiao's dog to death inside that coffin. Everyone who's been rooting for Xiao is on edge, but it seems like our guy isn't even worried. He quickly orders his monster to use one of its abilities, Rift, and the beast begins to transform into shadow form, disappearing from the crystal coffin. The bastard looks around frantically, wondering where the monster disappeared to. Soon enough, he notices Black Fang materializing right in front of him. His tiger quickly lunges to attack in order to save his master, but Xiao's dog retreats just in time. My guy then tells his buddy to show his full strength and commands him to use Silent Claw. Right at that moment, Black Fang delivers a series of powerful slashes, leaving the bastard's beast stunned. The dean is completely bewildered to see this. Silent Claw is a dark attribute skill, and upon hitting the opponent, it causes a 3-second silence effect. Then, Xiao gives the final command to end the fight. With a single directive, Black Fang unleashes a massive fire attack that completely obliterates the opponent's monster. The beast is defeated instantly. With that final attack, the referee announces Xiao as the victor of this ridiculous battle. The crowd erupts in cheers and applause, impressed by Xiao's win. It seems our guy might have unintentionally picked up a few fans along the way. The cocky bastard finally loses all remaining pride, still finding it impossible to believe he lost. Right at that moment, the dean enters the scene, reminding him that according to school rules, the loser must apologize to the victor to officially end this conflict. Reluctantly, the trashy villain concedes his defeat, bowing his head as he mumbles an apology. The dean, on the other hand, gives props to our boy for his stellar performance, hinting that he might be only the second student to catch her attention. The bastard, meanwhile, feels a sting of jealousy seeing Xiao getting recognition, and is already plotting how to make him pay for this. The dean is looking forward to seeing our boy's performance in the freshman rankings competition in 3 days. Xiao smiles and thanks her for the compliment, but can't help being curious about who was the first student to catch her eye. The dean reminds him that it's a young genius with a spiritual power level over 1000, with the name Ye Shuangning. The name clicks in his mind as he recalls how everyone was talking about her during the entrance exam. Since she genuinely appreciates talent, she surprises Xiao by offering him a spatial ring as a reward for winning this match. Xiao is left with his jaw hanging. A spatial ring is an item that allows him to store anything, crafted using advanced technology to serve as storage equipment for beastmasters. It can hold everything he might need, food, supplements, and even beast cores collected in battles. Xiao feels happy about it and decides to humbly accept the spatial ring. Later, he's strolling out of the Azure Dragon Academy entrance, worried that his sister might be waiting for him at home. He decides to hurry back, but right at that moment, he accidentally bumps into a little girl. Her head starts spinning after the collision. She quickly apologizes for her mistake while Xiao pats her and tells her to be more careful next time. He also advises her to head home safely. But the little girl just sticks to his feet and insists she has nowhere to go. She pleads for him to take her in. What an absolute mess. Xiao is just walking along, and out of nowhere, he ends up taking in this random girl without even thinking about it. When he gets home, His sister gives him an earful for kidnapping a child. Xiao tries to explain, but his sister isn't ready to listen. After a few tense moments, his sister finally calms down as he tells her the full story. He further explains that Ximeng has a fear of beasts, which makes her unfit to become a beastmaster. She ran away from home because her family mistreated her, so he brought her back to help her overcome her fear. Sister Ruoxu quickly hoists the little girl into her arms, and the girl pleads to her to let her stay, saying she doesn't want to go back home. Ruoxu gives her the green light to stay, but she warns her brother to never choose a woman from the Ye family. Of course, I don't have any clue what his shitty sister is trying to say to his shitty brother, or how this shitty family is related to the shitty plot, but trust me, I don't want to know either way. The next day at Azure Dragon Academy, everyone is lined up outside, waiting for the next command from Teacher Chen. Xiao is in the crowd, thinking about why his sister suddenly warned him against the Ye family. Just then, one of Xiao's blind followers comes up and catches him mumbling about the Ye family. The friend reminds him that Instructor Chen mentioned today's lesson would be about battlefield positioning, and he asks our boy if he knows what battlefield positioning is. My guy snaps back from his thoughts, asking if he's talking about battlefield positioning. He explains that Beastmasters focus on teamwork in battle, each with different roles and positions. Shooters are beasts with long-range attacks, dealing frequent damage from afar. Mages are beasts with large-scale control skills, useful for heavy damage in group fights. Tanks are beasts with strong defense and healing abilities, acting as shields for the team. Assassins are beasts with high mobility and finishing power, responsible for taking out low-health enemies. Supports are beasts with buff skills, enhancing the team's abilities. His follower asks which position Xiao thinks suits his storm butterfly beast. But before Xiao can respond, Instructor Chen cuts them off, telling them to shut up during class. He then commands everyone to summon their beasts in student ID order to undergo their evaluations, which will determine their battlefield positioning. The first guy in the group is Song Hu, who takes the position of tank because his powerful beast has incredible defense. Next is Wuxing Yu, positioned as the mage since his storm butterfly excels at wide-area water attacks, making him the best choice for this role. Then comes our boy, Xiao Xingyu. My guy steps forward confidently, and the teacher explains that the first test is about attack power. The teacher asks if he's ready, to which my guy flashes a smile and tells him to just start. He summons his Black Fang monster and commands it to use the Hell Howl skill. The beast unleashes an immense firepower blast that strikes over the pole, landing a critical hit that triples the damage. He scores an astounding 6,371 points. Everyone is absolutely blown away, as most of them can barely manage half of that damage. Even the teacher is stunned, because usually, initial beast special attack damage ranges from 500 to 1,500. So there is no way in hell that the Hellstorm Wolf landed a triple critical hit, dealing over 2,000 damage. My guy then asks Instructor Chen if, since the attack test is over, he is fit for the assassin role. But the teacher tells him that he can't possibly give any ruling yet, so he tells him to keep going with the tests. The second test is the range test, and my guy nails this one as well. Then, there's the defense test. My guy nails that one too. Next is the control test, and once again my guy nails it. Lastly, there's the buff test. Based on Teacher Chen's data, any beast within 10 meters of Hellstorm Wolf